Alright, I know the collab, like, just came out and everything, but, like, I just want to make this video because, like, nobody has made this video in the history on YouTube. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah, I know Plush N Fluff made a video like this, but I'm going to be adding a whole bunch of lore that I don't think anybody knows about the history of the Colorbox SpongeBob plushes. We're going to be talking about so much that bootlegs are going to be in this video. Yeah, bootlegs. They were making SpongeBob plush bootlegs from 2000 through 2002. I just cannot believe how bizarre that is. They were making bootlegs from the start. So get your popcorn, get your M&Ms, and your Minute Maid Peach. I don't really have to tell you what to get. You can get whatever you want. So how about we take a little bit of a deep dive and talk about the history of the Colorbox SpongeBob plushes. So basically, the Colorbox SpongeBob plushes were hitting stores in 2000 and 2002. And the stores it was mostly hitting was Blockbuster Video, Kmart, Hot Topic, and at Universal Studios at the SpongeBob Store Pants. Also, the line of the Colorbox plushes were the first ever line of SpongeBob plushes to be on Earth, so I feel like that's kind of cool. Within the line of the Colorbox plushes, it included SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, Mr. Krabs, Sandy, and Gary. And there was a couple extra ones too, like SpongeBob as Mermaid Man, SpongeBob as a fry cook, and SpongeBob as a police officer. There's not really too much known about that one in general. People say it's a prototype, people say it's not, but we'll get to that later, don't worry. These were really cool plushes to have, and they still are today. I actually have the full line of the Colorbox SpongeBob plushes, and it took me less than a year to get these. The one that was the hardest to find was the Mr. Krabs. And oh yeah! There is a lot of rarity to these. The one that is the most rare would have to be the Fry Cook SpongeBob, because I never see that. And I never see the Mermaid Man SpongeBob too, because those are rare as hell to find. And if they do go up for sale on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, anything like that, they go for a lot of money. And I'm talking a lot. Just in case if you don't believe me, there was an online auction on eBay last year of a Mermaid Man SpongeBob. And one of my friends was actually trying to get it and try to win the bid and everything like that. But no, he didn't win it because the last and final bid on that was a lot of money. Alright, so I'm about to show you the screenshot, and what I'm about to show you is going to be crazy. It's not edited, it's not Photoshop, just check it out. Yeah, $405 for a Mermaid Man SpongeBob plush. I wish this was made up. I wish it was edited, for Christ's sake. I wish. But no, it's not. It was the actual price for what it went for. And oh yeah, they go for much more. But I'm not going to show the rest because I don't want to give y'all a seizure, so yeah. But in my opinion, I think the best Colorbök plush out there would have to be the Mr. Krabs. He looks amazing, the fabric is really great on him, there's no errors, nothing like that. And it looks like he just came out your TV. That's how great it looks. And I'm going to be completely honest, it is really, and I'm talking really, really rare, to find a good looking Colorbök Mr. Krabs, or just a Colorbök Mr. Krabs in general. I got my Mr. Krabs for about $65, but they usually go for about $120. I'd say I got pretty lucky. And here's a screenshot of what they usually go for. Yeah, a lot, right? Way much less than the Mermaid Man SpongeBob, but yeah. And I'd say I even got more lucky when back in March I got another Colorbök Mr. Krabs for about $35. And here's what he looks like. And yeah, he has a tag. Unlike my other one. My other one did have a tag, but it sadly fell off. But this one does look pretty good. I mean, I think my other one's better. But yeah. Alright, now we're going to step aside from the rare plushes, and now we're going to go to the prototypes. Now for the prototypes of the Colorbök plushes, they're actually pretty unique. But we don't know every single prototype of the Colorbök plushes. Yeah, there's prototypes out there, but they're not really known and we've never seen them before. But there is a few that are known and they're actually pretty cool. For example, look at the Colorbox Squidward prototype. Now when I first saw this pop up on eBay, I thought it was a regular Squidward Colorbok plush that was just for a large amount of money. But no, I read the word prototype and I looked what was on the Squidward and I understood. If you didn't see the special feature about it, it's a Colorbok Squidward holding a clarinet. And it was even being sold by Hank Hill. I mean, he's the best! I remember the date this got listed, my friend texted me saying, I'll get this one way or another. And I was like, you're not going to pay that much. I know it's a prototype, but I'm like, you ain't going to pay $300 for a Squidward. you can literally custom make that and saying, oh, I have the prototype, because there's no YouTuber that has that. And you'll be like, I have it. Crap, I just probably gave someone an idea. No, don't do that. Don't do it. You're gonna click me. But let's just move on from that and go to another prototype. Or prototypes, because they are. So these SpongeBob plushes you're seeing on the screen right now are known to be the prototypes for the regular Colorbok SpongeBob plush, like the one you see in my videos. And these are actually pretty unique prototypes because they look like they pop out and they'll, you know, get your attention. Every time I see this picture, it just reminds me of the SpongeBob character design from the pilot. You know, because, you know, like, his eyes are popping out, like, his lip is kind of popping out a little bit, like, his teeth are a little bit more far apart. You know what I'm talking about? And these are the only pictures of these prototypes that we know of. And I really want to know if anyone has them or what happened to them. And if anyone does have them, I mean, just sell it. I mean, just give it to me. Now we're going to go on to another prototype, or a bootleg. Now this one is the Police Officer SpongeBob Colorbok plush. Now that we know of, there's actually 2 pictures of these plushes. Some of my close friends on Discord just might think that there's one of them, but no, there's actually 2. One of my other friends on Discord, SpongeBob Collector 5th, or as Here's Mr. Krabs Plays, shout out to him, he sent me this picture, and I completely lost it because now we have another picture of this plush. So that begs the question, is it a bootleg? Because look at these 2 images. On the lens and the sunglasses, it's kind of chipped, but then on the other picture, it's not chipped at all. So, probably a bootleg. Now we're about to jump into another scenario like this, where it's about a Patrick prototype plush or a bootleg. And here's what it looks like. Now I'm kind of 50-50 about this. On one part, I think it's a bootleg, and on the other part, I think it's a prototype. I'm not sure. And I've never seen this plush in my life. So there's no real answer if it's a prototype or a bootleg, but in my opinion, I'm pretty sure it might be a bootleg. And the only way I found this plush when it was on an eBay listing not too long ago last year. It was labeled as SpongeBob SquarePants Patrick Plush Colorbok KO 7-inch Blue Shorts Rare. What a title. But the thing is, there is no tag on the back of the plush at all. Yeah, maybe the seller could have cut it off a couple years ago, but still. He also has no purple eyelids like the other Patrick plushes made by Colorbox, so I don't know. Alright, now we're going to get into another prototype, which is actually a real prototype, not a bootleg. It's not like a confusion. But there's actually a few of them, but I'm not going to go through every single one at a time. But they're not plushies. They're figures. Yeah, you may have thought Colorbok just have sold SpongeBob plushes, but no. They sold figures. And here's what they look like. They come in a 3-pack with SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward. Or should I say Squidward? And let's just not talk about the actual price on these. And yeah, that price you're seeing on the screen right now is not Photoshop, it's not edited, that's the actual price for what these figures go for. Not $50, not $30, almost $1,000. $1,000 for just a set of figures. And you thought they only made SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward probably the best trio ever, but they also made Mr. Krabs and a few other ones. And here's what they look like. It's still a set of 3, but it's Mr. Krabs, Sandy, and Gary. I would say Mr. Krabs would have to be my favorite. I mean, just look at him. Help me, please! I'm stuck in me plastic! And here's the prices on these. Yeah, still a lot of money, but way much less than the other one. But now since y'all got an idea of what the figures look like, it's time to show y'all the prototypes. Now, the prototypes are not actually the prototypes for the figures I just showed you. They're prototypes for figures that were never even released. So you're going to see some pretty cool stuff here. Now, my boy Spongy Plush Adventure really came in clutch because he sent me these pictures of prototypes bendy figures that were never even released. But just imagine how cool it would be if these were released. But then I found these pictures. There's only 2 of them that are known to be out there. There might be more in like some office somewhere. And no, before you ask, these are not bendies. These aren't even figures. These are the original drawing concepts for the SpongeBob Colorbok plushes. Alright, now we're done with the prototypes. Let's talk about the big plushes. If you're wondering, what's the big plushes? The big plushes are like the large size plushes. And I'm going to be talking about a few of them. Let's talk about the main one I think every single collector knows. The main SpongeBob. It's actually a pretty big plush. Sadly, I don't have it yet, but I'll probably get it eventually. I do have a version of it, but I'll get to that later. Now let's talk about another size plush, which is kind of similar, but it does have a difference. And this plush is the Glasses SpongeBob plush. I do know a friend that does have this. I'll mention him down below because I've mentioned him a few times in this video. And he does have a pretty big SpongeBob plush collection, just like me. But a little bit more rarity. But with the Glasses SpongeBob plush, the price is not like a regular large size SpongeBob where it's about like 28 bucks. The Glasses SpongeBob plush is like $75 on average. Hey, if it's a Colorbok Mr. Krabs, I get why it's a lot of money. But a SpongeBob plush with glasses, you gotta be fucking kidding me? Now let's step aside from the glasses SpongeBob and get to a large plush that I actually have. And this one in particular is the fried cooked SpongeBob. The thing about this plush, he has a lot of details on him, which I really love. They put sesame seeds on the burger bun, which I think is really unique. And overall, he's like a 10 out of 10 plush. And yeah, I know it goes for like $80, but we're not gonna talk about that! And before you ask, let me be clear, I did not pay $80 on a SpongeBob plush. I would never do that in my life. I got mine for about like 20-something bucks. It wasn't even that bad. There's actually another version of this plush. It looks like this. It's a mix of like the original large SpongeBob and the fry cook one. It's just like the original large SpongeBob with like the accessories. So you can literally custom make that. You're just gonna get scanned. And no, it's not a custom because there's a few other ones on WorthPoint. So yeah, I want to quickly add something real quick. Since we're on topic of the big plushies, I was scrolling on Twitter and I saw someone showing off their Squidward collection, right? And I was looking through the collection just to see, like, you know, what they had. For example, he had the inflatable Squidward from that 1 o'clock Neptune video where he stabbed a frickin' fork into... I don't even remember, man! Another example could be... Oh my goodness! Yeah, everyone, this person has the fucking prototype Squidward from Hank Hill himself. I'll tell you what! In all seriousness, we now know who owns it. And, yeah, I will share his Twitter in the description. So you guys can go follow him and share some love and whatever you may do. But then you may be wondering, why is this in the big plushes category? Wouldn't this be in the small plushes? Because like the main Colorbök plushes are like small. Just why? Well, luckily the dude that has the prototype Squidward has a regular version of the Colorbök Squidward, so we can compare the sizes. Please don't clip that. Please don't clip that, please! But look how big this prototype is. He is huge. That watermelon head be massive. You thought I was gonna do a low taper fade joke. Anyway, I thought to include this picture in the big plushes category because number 1, he's a huge plush, and number 2, this is like the second known picture of the plush. Well, except the other pictures on the eBay listing, but still. Now let's talk about the limited edition plushes. And by limited edition, I'm talking about plushes you can only get in certain stores. For the first limited edition plush, I want to talk about the jellyfishing SpongeBob plush. Now, I know I could have included this in the large plushes category, but listen, it's a limited edition plush, but I feel like if I put it in the limited edition, then it's more unique. Because just look at him, he's just holding a jellyfish and a jellyfish, that's not really that cool. But hey, if it's a limited edition plush, that's cool. And you can only get these guys at Hot Topic stores. And luckily, I have a picture of these plushies being in stores. Sadly, I don't have any for Kmart or Blockbuster, but wouldn't it be cool if we did, though? I mean, we probably do, but it's not on the internet or social media or Twitter, whatever you want to say, really. Just here's what the picture looks like, and not gonna lie, it looks pretty nostalgic. Even though I wasn't there in the 2000s, it looks pretty cool. And there's a few plushes that aren't even Colorbök, but still rare. The one that really stands out to me is the Squidward on a chair plush. Yeah, that's the actual one. If you want to see me talk about that, just watch this video. I made a whole documentary about it, so yeah. You can even see the inflatable SpongeBobs in the back, and that's kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, the jellyfishing SpongeBob has been sold on eBay a few times, but they go for about a pretty steep amount of money. I'll try to find a picture of an old listing. If I can't, you'll see nothing. Well, maybe like a stupid Squidward picture, but I don't know. Now we're going to talk about the last thing for this video. I know, I wish there was more. Maybe like a Colorbök Mr. Krabs prototype, but that's not known yet, so I don't know. But this last thing is a limited edition product for Blockbuster. And this limited edition item, well, items, was a regular Colorbök SpongeBob plush with an accurate sized Gary. This is what it looked like. One of the things that I love about Colorbök SpongeBob plushes is that sometimes, if the tag is still on, they'll still have that Blockbuster price sticker on it, which you don't see no more because Netflix kind of assassinated it. But the thing is, the box has the Blockbuster price on it. I've never seen a picture of these plushes without the Blockbuster price sticker at all. I don't think anyone took it off. And I want to thank the people for that. And if you didn't, you're going to see black SUVs outside of your house tonight! I just love how Colorbök is always so detailed and so on point with these plushes because they went out of their way to make an accurate size Gary. They also made a talking Gary. I don't have any videos of that, but I do have a picture. So, yeah. They also made a big Gary. Like, look how big he is compared to the Pillow Buddies Patrick. If you were the Patrick plush, it would be an accurate size, but if you're a human, it's not. And then there's the regular Gary plush, which is the one I use in my videos, which I feel like he's like one of the best Gary plushes ever, so definitely get him if you ever see one on eBay, Macari, or anything like that. For the Blockbuster Gary, he actually has Velcro, so he can just, you know, sit on SpongeBob's head anytime you wish, so I feel like that's kind of cool. And believe it or not, my friend that was talking about getting the prototype Squidward, he got a Blockbuster SpongeBob and Gary in the box for $100. I'm not trying to judge him, but I'm just saying, you're a crazy collector, my guy. You're a crazy collector, fella. You are. And I know I can be sometimes when it comes to plushes, but not like Plush Dude. Not like him, bro. Alright, I know I said that was going to be the last thing, but then I remembered something, and I knew I had to include it in this video. And that thing I had to include was the Japan releases of the plushies. Now, the Japan releases are the same as the US, but there's sometimes a difference to them. Let me show you the SpongeBob. The SpongeBob has kind of a pale yellow skin, but if you take a look at the US version, his skin is really, really yellow. My man be looking like a cheese block over here, bro. And look at the Mr. Krabs. The Japan release is a little bit more slim, but then the US version is a little bit more fat. But the thing is, there's actually two versions of the Colorbök Mr. Krabs. Not in Japan, but in the US. First version is like the fat Krabs where he has really stubby arms. The second version is a little bit more skinnier Krabs with more longer arms. But you may be wondering, well, the Japan release looks more like version 2, so how do you know it's a Japan release? Well, it's not even that hard to point out. Even if you're not a SpongeBob fan or a collector, you can still point this out. If you take a look at the tag on the back of one of the plushes, on the US version, it has a white tag and talks about Steven Hillenburg, Viacom, and all that type of stuff. But for the Japan version, it's just an orange tag with the Nickelodeon logo. Kinda like the Jack Specific plushes. The way I found this out is that I was in an old SpongeBob collecting server on Discord, and someone talked about having a Japan release Mr. Krabs Colorbok plush, and the way people were finding this out is that it had an orange tag, so people knew it was from Japan. And a couple months ago, that exact Mr. Krabs I'm talking about got sold to Macari, so I guess this is kind of cool. I don't even know, bro. Other than that, that is pretty much it for the history of the Colorbok SpongeBob plushes. And I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I hope y'all had a fun time. If you want to see more videos like this where I do like a Pac-Mac style video and I talk about other types of SpongeBob plushes, let me know down in the comments of what SpongeBob plush brand I should do next. If I consider doing another video like this, I might do Jack Specific, I might do TY, probably Jack Specific if I do another video like this. But we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time!